Hello, my second grade friends and my first grade friends. So most weeks I'm going to read some of the same stories to kinder, first, and second, but I'm not going to read all the same stories. So some weeks you're going to have a separate video and some weeks you will have the same video. So the other two stories that I read today are on YouTube on a different recording. They are on the kindergarten recording. And the names of the books are This Way, Charlie, and The Hello Goodbye Window. I also read a story to the kinders called The Day My Mom Came to Kindergarten. It's a funny story. You might enjoy listening to it, but in place of that, for first and second grade, I read Gaston. This is Gaston. This is a story about Gaston. So I'm going to record this one separately for you guys because this is for first and second grade. Here we go. Gaston by Kelly DiPiccio. Here we go. We're going to set Gaston up here because he wants to listen to the story too. Here we go. Can you see Gaston? He says he can see. Here we go. Mrs. Poodle admired her new puppies, Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston. Would you like to see them again? Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston. Perfectly precious, aren't they? Mrs. Poodle thought so too. The puppies grew, as puppies do. 3 were no bigger than teacups. 1, 2, 3. The 4th, however, continued to grow and grow until he was the size of a teapot. Mrs. Poodle took pride in teaching her puppies how to be proper pooches. They were taught to sip, never slobber. Good. Well done. Very nice. Oh, nice try. Can you see the giant mess he made? They were taught to yip, never yap. Yip, yip, yip. Roof. My goodness. And they were taught to walk with grace, never race. Tip, toe, tippy toe. Whoa! The puppies were also taught how to look pretty in pink, nibble their kibble, and ride in style. Whatever the lesson, Gaston always worked the hardest, practiced the longest, and smiled the biggest. Mrs. Poodle was very pleased with all of her puppies. Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston. Spring arrived and the proud mother was eager to show off her darlings. She took them to the park for their very first stroll in public. There was much to see. Daffodils, ducklings, dogs. Oh dear, who do we have here? Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. Would you like to see them again? Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette. This was more than a little awkward. The mothers sized up their pups, and the pups sized up one another. It seems there's been a terrible mistake, Mrs. Bulldog said, breaking the silence. Oui, oui, Mrs. Poodle agreed sadly. Whatever shall we do? Mrs. Bulldog could not come up with an answer. I guess we'll let them decide, she replied at last. Gaston and Antoinette were young, but even they could see that there had been a mix-up. The 2 puppies began to circle around and around the group. Gaston walked with grace. Antoinette raced. Gaston yipped. Antoinette yapped. And when they finally came to a stop, the puppies had traded places. Well, there, that looked right. It just didn't feel right. That evening, Antoinette tried to fit in with her new sisters, but she did not like anything proper or precious or pink. Phooey! On the other side of town, Gaston tried to fit in with his new brothers, but he did not like anything brutish or brawny or brown. Ick! Antoinette and Gaston weren't the only ones who were having a hard time adjusting. The moms, they don't care for it. They're missing their babies. The next morning, Mrs. Poodle forgot all about being proper and raced back to the park. Mrs. Bulldog was already there, waiting for her with her burly brood. It seems we've made a terrible mistake, she nearly shouted. Oui, Mrs. Poodle agreed happily. This time, Gaston and Antoinette wasted no time trading places. There, that looked right. It felt right, too. From that day forward, the families met in the park every afternoon to play. Rocky, Ricky, Bruno, and Antoinette taught the poodle puppies a thing or two about being tough. Likewise, Fifi, Fufu, Ooh La La, and Gaston taught the bulldog puppies a thing or two about being tender. And many years later, when Gaston and Antoinette fell in love and had puppies of their own, they taught them to be whatever they wanted to be. The end. Oh, Gaston. I think he liked it. He looks happy. What do you think? Next time, maybe not next time, but another time, we will read Antoinette, the other book in that series, okay? Thanks for listening, guys, and don't forget, there are 2 other books for 2nd and 3rd grade this week. You'll find them in the Kinder's recording because they got the same books of these 2. This Way, Charlie, and The Hello Goodbye Window, one of my personal favorites, okay? I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for coming.